All right. So you have everything that you need for your podcast except for a place to publish it. And from here, I'm going to give you a choice. The rest of this course has basically been a few choices, but pretty guided instruction on how to pick a topic and how to edit your episode and things like that. But now it really depends on what you want from your podcast. So, first of all, when you are hosting your podcast or when you are publishing your podcast, you need what's called an audio host, someplace to put those episodes so that people can then download them. A common misconception of the podcast host or podcast audio host or podcasting in general is that lots of people think that the audio is just hosted in Apple Podcasts. That's not the case. You actually need a service to host your podcast for you. That service will do everything you need to generate a URL or a podcast feed to then submit to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and things like that, which we will do in the next section of this course. But for now, you have a decision to make. What podcast host do you want to use? And there are lots of different choices, but I'm going to narrow it down to two for you. The first one is Anchor. Anchor is owned by Spotify and it is completely free. It is basically a free and full service podcast platform. And you're probably thinking, why would I want to pay when I can get everything for free? Well, you do relinquish some control from Anchor, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But I did want to give you the other option. That's the one that I like. It's the one that I use in the podcast website course, and that is Castos. Castos runs for starting at $19 a month. You can save some money if you pay for it annually, and they give you a 14-day free trial. But I absolutely love Castos. I think of the audio hosts, they are the best for most people. I use a different one because I've been around longer than Castos has for podcasting, but there are a lot. Everybody will recommend their favorite, but I think that there are two good options for you. One is Anchor and one is Castos. So let's talk a little bit about both. First is Anchor. Uh, Anchor, the branding right here, the easiest way to make a podcast, everything you need 100% free. And if we look at the features, it really is everything you need. Unlimited hosting, one-click distribution. I like that because they make it really easy to submit your podcast to everybody, including Apple Podcasts, which is a pain in the neck. The problem is that your podcast is then submitted under Anchor's name and not your own name. So there's a little bit of questions about ownership there, which is one of the cons of Anchor. Do you really own your podcast if you're not managing the feed? So, uh, but they have a lot of great features for you to monetize. They have straightforward analytics, and perhaps the biggest benefit is that you can record from the web interface. You can record from the app, the iOS or Android app, and then you can put together your episode. So it really is an all-in-one kind of podcasting boutique. I will recommend Anchor for people in the academic space who want to get their lectures online quickly and easily, or for people who are maybe experimenting with podcasting and they're not sure if they want to really make the commitment. So maybe like a limited run podcasting where you know you're not going to make a lot of money and you don't have that much to invest, or in the academic space, where you might want to put your lectures online for your students, but again, you don't necessarily want to pay for the hosting and you want something that's really, really easy. So that's where I would recommend Anchor. For other people, I would actually recommend Castos. So if you are serious about podcasting, and since you bought this course, I bet you are, Castos is an honest to goodness audio host. I think they do a really good job, and they have a fantastic WordPress plugin. So If we look at their features, they offer a lot of similar features to what Anchor offers: unlimited storage and bandwidth, unlimited podcasts and episodes. They make it easy for you to use your own website. They don't submit the podcast feed to the directories for you, but again, I'll show you how to do that in the next section. If we look at the pricing, they default to yearly, but if there's a little bit of sticker shock, we can go to the monthly. They start at $19 a month. That is all you would need starting out. And again, they offer unlimited podcasts, unlimited episodes. You can import, you can create a personalized podcast website. That's another nice thing about Castos, is that you will have a single URL for each episode, which is, again, I think super duper important, because you want to be able to share those episodes to people no matter what platform they're using. You can also create a private podcast, which is super cool. I actually did not know that until right now. That must be a new feature. And so I think that they are the best plan for you if you are starting a podcast. You're going to have two major costs when you start a podcast. The first is the hardware, which we talked about, and the second is the audio host. So this is where you're going to invest in your podcast if you're going to be serious about it. It's going to give you the most flexibility, and it's going to give you the most ownership over your podcast and your podcast feed. Again, if you're just experimenting and you're not sure and you're looking for the cheapest option possible, Anchor is good. It works. I will show you how to set up your podcast with Anchor in this section. But if you are looking to launch your podcast and do it professionally and promote it and grow your business and maybe even make some money with it, I think Castos is your best bet. There is one more. That's the one I use. It's Libsyn. Libsyn, you can start at $5 or $10 a month, but they limit you on the size of your files. And if you're doing more than 5-minute episodes, you're going to outgrow that $5 price range really quickly. This is why I like Castos, because they don't limit you based on the size of your podcast episodes. They give you unlimited episodes and storage and things like that. All you have to worry about is recording and uploading. So that's it. Your action item for this video is decide which one you want to use. Do you want to use Anchor and go the free and maybe a little bit more experimental route at the risk of giving up some ownership of your podcast? Remember that if you don't pay for something, then you are probably the product. Or Castos, which does cost some money, but it's one of the only big investments in the beginning that you need to make in your podcast. So we'll have videos in this section on how to get set up on both. You have a 14-day free trial with Castos, so you can try it out. And if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else, or you can use Anchor for free to start. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching.